Welcome back, guys, to a brand new Palworld news update. Today we're going to be talking about the whole thing to do with Nintendo and Palworld, and to be honest, I think that Palworld looks to be in the clear now for the future of this game. Now, what I want to say also is, if there is anyone like, you know, Pokemon, real sort of Pokemon fans out there that's watching this video, then please don't send across too much hate from this video, because obviously I like Pokemon. I've played a lot of Pokemon throughout my life and stuff, but I've never been like a proper Pokemon nerd, so I can't speak for players that are Pokemon fans, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to be reading the stuff that the Nintendo president has said, the stuff that the CEO of Palworld and Pocket Pair have said, and pretty much I'm going to share my thoughts. But you know, if you are a Nintendo fan out there, and I mean, I am a Nintendo fan, I love it, I've always loved Pokemon, but right now I'm really enjoying playing Palworld and all of that stuff. So yeah, pretty much if you guys do enjoy today's video, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and by the looks of things, we're being attacked in Palworld as we're about to just talk through. So we'll throw our dire wolf there. This is on an old server, by the way. It's like I play on a dedicated server and it's still down since the last update. So I'll be leaving the link to the source in the description down below, which was from VGC, so if you want to go and check it out, which is pretty much just saying, Nintendo president asked about Palworld during earnings Q&A. So we're just going to be reading through this whole thing. Let's also, at the same time, let's take on these attackers. There they are, the Syndicate. Oh, the level 3. It's so weird when you end up playing on another server. We'll let them take it on while we read through. So Nintendo president has commented on the ongoing debate over Palworld and its alleged similarities to the Pokemon series. So I'm personally someone that doesn't feel like I 100% get where players, that Nintendo fans come from when they say the similarities were so massive. I definitely get that more than anything. But the game is different, and in my personal opinion, and I feel like they probably came very close to being in a bit of trouble, but I like it. I think they're doing something that Nintendo should have done, and if Nintendo done it, I would have fully backed it more than anything. It could have been such a great game if they'd done it as well. Since launching into early access on PC, and Xbox last month, Palworld has become a huge breakout success. By February 1st, it had sold 12 million copies on Steam and had 7 million players on Xbox. However, the survival game's success ignited discourse around similarities between its character designs and those of the Pokemon games, with many accusing it of plagiarism. According to another source, the Nintendo president was asked about the Palworld situation at the Q&A following Nintendo's latest financial results briefing. While the president of Nintendo didn't specifically cast any aspirations on Palworld itself, he reportedly replied saying, "We will take appropriate action against those that infringe our intellectual property rights." The president's comments come 2 weeks after the Pokemon company broke its silence on the situation, during which it said it was investigating whether Palworld infringes on its IP rights. They went on to say, "We have received many inquiries regarding another company's game released in January 2024, the company said in a statement. "We have not granted any permission for the use of Pokemon intellectual property or assets in that game, and we intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to Pokemon. We will continue to cherish and nurture each and every Pokemon and its world, and we will work to bring the world through Pokemon in the future." Although the actual gameplay of Palworld is vastly different from Nintendo's series, debate has ranged on social media around the obvious influence its character designs have taken from Pokemon and whether it could be interpreted as plagiarism. Previous to the Pokemon statement, Palworld's director and CEO developer of Pocket Pair responded to the accusations against the game. Speaking to Japanese site Automaton, he claimed that Palworld had cleared legal reviews and that there had been no action taken against it by other companies. He went on to say, "We make our games very seriously and we have absolutely no intention of infringing upon the intellectual property of other companies," he said. So yeah, that's pretty much the biggest news there that came from recently over the last day. And I guess that is really all that Nintendo can say, is if anyone, which is what any company would say in the world, is if anyone tries to steal anything from you, you can use the Copyright Act. And it is one of the most important laws out there, because you can work so hard for something and something can be taken away from you, but things can be done in a completely different way. It's very similar to on YouTube. If let's say I create a video, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I made one the other day talking about the Palworld CEO update, and then another YouTuber, I'm not naming names, but I have no hate towards the other YouTuber at all or anything like that. I'm a big fan of the other YouTuber, actually watch his videos a lot. But he made a video pretty much titled nearly exactly the same as mine, saw that it hit quite a lot of views, and then it ended up getting just a bit more views than my one, even though it was uploaded a day later. And the information that I found for that video was about 2 weeks old, but I had to go searching for it, had to go looking for it, and that's what I always do. I'm always out there hunting and searching for brand new information, and then someone can see the information that you've done, and they can just be like, oh, that looks like good information, I'm gonna make a video on it. And they may do it in a better way, they may do it in a different, they may title it in a different way, even though the title was pretty much the same, and they end up getting more success from it. And I can't cry, and I can maybe say, oh, why did you do this? But to be honest, I just look always towards the future, and I always just look towards, right, if someone does that, then that's up to them. I guess, you know, and I know I could complain and everything, but at the end of the day, I don't own the rights to Palworld. I don't own the rights to a certain video. It's people can make other versions. So I know it's completely not the same as that, but I was just giving it in a little bit of example that with Palworld, they've gone and taken something that Nintendo and Pokemon had the opportunity to do, and they've never really done it. And they've done it in their own way that doesn't have any complete copyright stuff to the game. There's similarities to Pokemon, but that comes through inspiration. So there's similarities to Ark Survival Evolved in this game, like massively. I'd say it's more Ark than it is Pokemon when it comes to mechanics side of things. The PAL side of things very similar to Pokemon, but Ark aren't going out there and you know and suing Palworld for using the same similar mechanics, because that's not the side of that's not the side of things that can be copyrighted. It's if someone completely rips off you in a whole different way, which is using exactly the same player models, all of that stuff. And I don't think Palworld's player models are exactly the same. They're similar, and again, if you are Nintendo fans out there, I'm not going to impress all of you. I do want to try and make these videos as 50-50 as possible, because I want to see both sides to things. I don't want to just, because I'm a Palworld YouTuber, I don't want to, and obviously I want the best for the game, I don't want to just be like being unfair to both sides, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's a very interesting debate. I think that the best, for me personally, the best thing Pokemon can do is just make a game like this and make it better. That is literally the most healthiest thing for the gaming community, instead of going on to try and look into ways they can sue, or because I don't think they can. I'm sure Palworld have taken all of the measures they needed to, and Pocket Pair, as they said, they've done all their legal reviews. I think that our best way to beat competition is bring out something that's better, and they have the resources to do that. They're a massive billion them obviously are billionaires, aren't they, like a company, and they could make something that could compete with Palworld. And if it was even better, they could be the #1 top game. But unfortunately, so many of these top tier companies these days just tend to make these like mobile games that you have to pay for these in-game purchases for, and like the idea of the mobile games are good, but to be honest, they just don't feel like a real game. They don't. And I do play mobile games, right? And I play this Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, and I have spent money on it, and it pains me to say that I did do some big purchases to get some more stuff, and so it can get you hooked. And if you are just a fan of that franchise, you'll enjoy it. But if you want to actually move to a new market and do something that Palworld's done, then make a game similar. Obviously don't copy Palworld, because they've got that side of things now, but just make it all Pokemon, make it big, and release it and take time on it, and then you could be next up to be the #1 game making multi-sales instead of making these mobile games that you have to pay money for microtransactions. People are sick of microtransactions now. Microtransactions have had their day. They're still good now. They still get sales, but people want a game that you can just play. And fair enough if you might buy a skin from time to time, but we want the old school way of gaming back, where we buy a game, and once we've bought that game, of course we will support it with DLC purchases and all of that stuff, but just be able to play the game without having to move to the next step. I have to pay £5.99. And that's my personal opinion. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the response to this video. I hope, as I said, there's not too many Pokemon fans out there that will just want to dislike this. I hope you can hear what I'm saying in this video, and actually, hopefully, it could come across in a good way to you. And I think you guys would agree with me that if Pokemon did that new game, it would be great, and it probably would take over Palworld. But anyway, I know that's going to take time, it's going to take progress, but they got the resources to do it. I'm enjoying Palworld at this moment in time, and nothing's going to change me from that until something else maybe changes my mind, you know, and as this channel is crafting and survival. But yeah, I think that's my whole point on today's video. There's not really much else to talk about. I just think that I never agree with copyright. I hate it, and like when I come back to my point again of when I see a YouTuber completely rip off one of my video ideas, it annoys me, it upsets me, it makes me think. But then I just have to think, Dom, right, come back and do better. And unless someone completely just copied and pasted my video, I can't really do much about it. But that's where competition is great. Anyway, so if you guys did enjoy today's video, smash that like button, subscribe if you want your daily Palworld news and survival games, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. See you guys then.